Right. So for the next session, I am going to invite Andreas. I'm not going to follow the script, but I'm just going to tell you something about Andreas. I've known Andreas for years now. I attended his NLP Master Practitioner a few years back. I will always remember that training because in that one particular training, we did an intention exercise in the morning. It's something that's is a habit in the training classes, right? And what we did is that one of the intention I had is I want to have an awesome day today. And you know what? During the break time, we were walking down for our lunch break. Will Smith come out from nowhere and walk to us, and we were like, "Whoa, Will Smith is there!" Right? So I was like, "Okay, you know what? It works." Okay. Affirmation. I learned about affirmation from him. I learned about all of the skills that I'm doing right now in my business is attributed back to the things that I learned from NLP, right? So when it comes to neuro-linguistic programming, Andreas is one of the few people in Malaysia that I respected, even in the world as well. I see him as a mentor. Uh, for those of you who do not know, Andreas is German, by the way, but I see him as more Malaysian, right? So he is uh, uh, he is someone that I look up to, and it's definitely something that we can learn from him tonight, where he's going to be sharing a lot about the how. So without further ado, let's give a two thumbs up to Andreas. Can you do that? Andreas, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Okay. And I want to also say something about Amin. If you are in a totally different manner altogether, because Bharati and we asked Amin to jump in here because I have learned him. I know him long for as a friend right now already, but I also learned something from him. He is my Sifu with regard to LinkedIn. So if any of you really want to intend to learn LinkedIn or bring your LinkedIn knowledge to the next higher level, generate business from LinkedIn, for example, then you should reach out to Armin as well. So if any of you is on LinkedIn, wants to get business from LinkedIn, create visibility on LinkedIn, and so on, just reach out to him as well. Reach out to me or Bharati if you have problems finding him. But Armin, feel free to add on your email address or your handphone number maybe, or at least your email address in the chat box as well along that line.
I'll put in my LinkedIn URL. It'll be
Okay,
easier.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's fine. All right, what I'm sharing with you guys has nothing to do with medication or pharmaceutical stuff, and I'm really impressed and I love it very much what I heard from Baradi because these are stuff that I'm reading about. I'm using this is terminology as well every now and then in my training, but I'm not coming from that background. My background is really mindset and what do you need to do basically through NLP, neuro linguistic programming, which is a mouthful, to get into a better state. NLP to me, I'm not sure who knows NLP here. NLP is to me is a methodology that helps me to get from where I am today to where I want to be tomorrow, and how to see obstacles, how to see challenges, how to see stuff that blocks me inside of me, how to remove it, look at it in a different manner, circumvent it, and remove it from my life along that line. So I don't want to talk too much about NLP because the session is about you. But I want to start off why I think the time we are living in right now, and I'm not sure, of course, if other people have seen me before. I think we are living in an amazing time, honestly speaking, but because we are in a privileged situation. If you are here listening to this session here right now, you are somewhat privileged because you have access to internet, you have access to a laptop, you have access to reaching out to other people, you have access to learning capabilities. So I'm speaking to you directly, but I also understand a lot of people don't have that access and they are in a much more stressful situation. So if you are dealing with other people who are in a different situation and don't have the possibilities we do have, I think Bharati and Amin would appreciate if whatever you learn tonight, also share with them. Feel free to share with them. Um, we are all, we all in the process of growing up. We all were children once. I like to always start with this one, all right? We all were children once. And as we grow up, we started to install inside of us, coming from our parents, coming from school, coming from culture, we are starting to install inside of us how does a world outside of us really works. We start to install beliefs inside of us. We start to install emotions inside of us. We learn how to act accordingly to school pressure, to what our parents ask us to do, to what society tells us to do. We know how to react. We know how to act. We know how to create our life before. And everything is beautiful. And even if there are challenges in our life, somewhere along that line, we manage most of the time to overcome those challenges. I strongly believe, and let me talk about change for a moment, because change is frightening to most people at a certain level. I'm in the business of change because change starts inside here first. Through NLP and all that, it's possible to approach change differently. Now, we just passed New Year's Eve, and many people might have set goals, or you set goals across your life in certain periods of your life. And I realized when COVID came that we are setting goals oftentimes in just one area of our life. I want to have financial independence. I want to lose weight. I want to build better relationships with my family. I want to build better relationships with my children. I want to get to the next higher career goal. All of these are great goals. But if you come to think about those goals, they were always hitting on one area of your life only. Be it health, losing weight, living more healthily, maybe exercising. Career goal, professional development. I need to learn a new skill. I want to get a career to the next level. I want to open an own business. This is one area of your life. I want to have better relationships with my family, with my wife, with my husband, with my children, with my in-laws, of all the people, of course, is one area of your life. COVID has changed everything. First of all, COVID changed everything outside of us. There's always change what happens outside of us, which I believe is out of our control anyway. But this COVID changed our whole life. And that made it so scary to many of us. It changed everything. We need to look at career differently right now. How do we do our work right now? We are no longer working in companies. We are oftentimes working from home. Our health. Suddenly health became so incredibly important to us. Many people work before and suddenly and neglected their health. Through COVID, suddenly we become aware, wow, that thing can kill us. When I heard, for example, I'm staying in Taman Desa in Malaysia, that there are numbers of COVID around in Taman Desa, I got worried initially because boom, boom, boom. I can't see that thing. I can't do anything about it. I can't take care of myself. I got worried. So that was like, because it's something invisible. One area of my life changed and I threw back on myself. So suddenly everything changed. How we order food, how we interact with families. We are no longer 8 hours, 10 hours of the day outside of our home. No, we are now living in a confined apartment, condominium, house many times. And if you don't have a separate office or a space where you do your work, you might have to share your place with your wife, with your kids, with everybody else. And there's a lot of pressure inside. So COVID has changed our whole life. Singular change, just losing weight or stop smoking or getting career up to the next level is somewhat manageable to us. It's frightening enough. Now everything has changed. And the problem with change is, see, our whole life has changed. We knew before how our world is run. As we grew up, we realized the world is functioning like this. I study hard, I go to work, I earn my money, I save a little bit, I can buy certain stuff. That's how I communicate, that's how I talk. We knew how our world works because of our belief system inside. It was a clear world. Nowadays, our beliefs about how the world works, now I work in a team, now I have to work alone, has totally, absolutely shifted. So what we learned before 2019, we need to have a new approach overall. We need to change everything. And change is always scary. Changes, see, our unconscious mind, I believe all of you know conscious mind and unconscious mind. I promise, I believe you know that. Unconscious mind is a part inside of us which holds our belief, which holds the stuff that we can't access easily overall, our values, how do we see relationship, how do we see money, all our beliefs inside of us, we don't know how to access it. The unconscious mind's main function, big learning for you now, the main function of the unconscious mind is to protect you. You create habits, because what made you safe yesterday, what made you alive yesterday, what helped you survive yesterday, your unconscious mind believes, let's just do it over and over and over again. Because what was good enough yesterday, your unconscious mind is supposed to protect you and to get you into the next day overall. What was good enough yesterday for to survive yesterday, let's do it again tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. And if change is happening, it freaks out the unconscious mind, because suddenly the unconscious mind doesn't work anymore. We are stepping out in the unknown and we're getting worried. The unconscious mind gets worried, tries to pull us back. That's why many times when we set goals, we fail, because the unconscious mind in all its power tries to catch us back. Now the whole life has changed and we need to change automatically. Our unconscious mind, and Bharati was indicating it so beautifully, our unconscious mind is on high alert every moment right now. We can't see COVID. The life at work has changed. We are living in a confined compartment in our area, at our home. We don't know how to exercise. Is that person next to us, is he a COVID carrier? Is that the right word? I don't know. Or can I walk by that person safely? When I'm running in my condominium area, I do my exercise, and there are people coming across of me, I can see how they do a circle. I don't want to touch people anymore. I don't want to get close to people anymore. People start to try to adjust to new environments, which is to try to a protective mechanism. So what I want you to realize, to change, and we need to change everything, is the most important part of it. You got to start learning to ask different questions. First of all, I want you to realize some of you are older already. You have been, and it might sound very stupid right now, what I'm saying next, but you have been through change before. Maybe not as dramatic as it's right now. Maybe when you were younger, you tried to find a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or you found a new job, or you lost your job. And the company restructured, fired you, you lost your job, you went home, no job anymore. This is a strength, because realize what happened at that point of time when you were challenged before. You started to learn new coping mechanism. You set out and said, I find a new job. I'm approaching new life. I look differently right now. I go into a new company and work differently. I learn new projects. So don't forget all the learnings you had before. They are your resources. And when I'm saying resources means sometimes it's good to go back and think about, when I lost my job, which we forget earlier on, Amin was asking us what was a major learning this week, and I forgot. Hey, you forgot many, many things throughout your whole life. Think about it. Go back in time for yourself and think about when you lost your job, when you got married, when you wanted to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and he or she rejected you, or when you failed in university, didn't succeed initially. There was always something to learn. What did you learn at that point of time? A learning which might allow you that you can utilize right now. I think it's a very important learning. We forget what happened in the past and we always try to cope with whatever is in front of us. We forget we have so many learnings inside of us. So sit down in a quiet moment and write down everything you've learned throughout your whole life, the capabilities. Think about challenges you managed before in your life. And think about really what have you learned from that one. Because one major learning, one shift you need to have is humans are extremely flexible. You are flexible. And that is your mindset. If you look around, humans are everywhere, in the Antarctica, in space, in the desert, in the desert. We are everywhere. We are actually very, very flexible. So the question you need to identify within yourself, how can you start becoming more flexible in your life overall to cope with the changes that happens around you? Yes, thank you, John. Around you all the time right now. That also requires you to ask a couple of different questions. And I want you to really think about those questions. See, when the brain is under stress, what happens? There are two functions. Research has shown two functions happening, or two reactions instantly. The brain can think, I'm threatened. Or I can see it as a challenge. Some people call it growth mindset, or what is the other one? Stagnant mindset, or whatever other mindset, okay? Threat versus challenge. If you feel threatened in your life because of whatever happens around you right now, you might ask yourself questions, fixed mindset, thank you. Why me? Why did I lose a job? Why is it happening to me? Why I was happy yesterday, that stupid COVID thing. Why is the government not supporting me? Why is my boss not supporting me right now? Why do I have to work like that? Why wouldn't help you much? Why is helping you to spiral into a negative state? Because if you realize the more why you ask, the more misery you might find in your life. Instead of asking, why me, go into a challenged mindset. What I mean by challenge, see it as a challenge right now. Because a challenge, think about challenges you had in your life before. Challenges like finding that girl or that boy, getting married. Hey, marriage alone is a whole new life. Giving birth or having a child for the first time, your whole life changes instantly as a resource. So you could ask yourself, what can you do right now? So instead of why me, ask yourself, what can you do here right now? How can I cope with what happens to me right now? How can I make things happening? How can I manage my life differently? So these are different questions. So instead of asking why, which is putting the cause outside of you, ask yourself, how can I cope with it? So where is the flexibility, the resources within yourself, plus the right question to ask? Is it learning? Secondly, I do know, and I read an article last week only, that some employee was complaining live on Facebook or posted a screenshot that, for example, a boss was asking him at 2:30 at night, how come I sent you a task, a question, and a project I'm working on right now? How come you're not answering immediately? The boss was asking at 2:30 a.m. in the morning time, why is the employee not responding to the WhatsApp message coming up instantly? It's happening. So it's very important for you as well to realize your need to set personal and professional boundaries. What happens right now in our life is personal and professional life is totally diluted. Earlier on, already before COVID, we were already working 10, 12 hours a day, or 8 to 10 hours, and then 2 hours in traffic jams. Now we are working from home. Many people cope through work by working 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, sitting in front of the laptop. Establish boundaries, really make it clear to yourself, what is personal life, what is professional life? Do something else. Every hour, 5 minutes, get away from your laptop and your screen to refresh your mind overall. Look outside, see some greenery. I have a trampoline at home. So I'm getting every hour for 5 to 10 minutes out of my study onto the trampoline, and I jump for 5 to 10 minutes until I feel like energized and out of breath and a bit tired. And then I go back and do my work, and I walk around or I chase my cat. It's about interrupting patterns, interrupting new habits, because you get trained up by your bosses or train yourself up that you are working for 24 hours a day. Establish boundaries, very important. Next point I want to share with you is, I indicated earlier already, you can only control yourself. That means look at the glass half full. Ask yourself the following question. And I love the question I'm sharing with you. So it's a important silence I'm putting here forward right now. A very important question. How could the situation that you are in right now, the best thing that ever happened to you, how could whatever happened right now be the best thing that happened to you in your life? Think about that. How could that be the best thing? If you lost your job, how could that be the best thing? If you are living at home right now and you are in a confined condominium, how could that be the best thing? If you have no family member but you are very much alone, how could that be the best thing for you? And find solutions around this one. How could that be the best thing for you overall? Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? It's a different type of question. Always getting away from why me. I like Parish because he's walking around. That is also very good. Too often we are sitting in front of the laptop and Parish, you're straight in front of my camera. I'm sorry, I see it. Okay. I many times, for example, hey, I'm watching Netflix, or later on I watch Premier League on my laptop here. But I'm standing in front of the laptop and I do jogging in front of the laptop. And I ran 2 weeks back while I watched Premier League. I was running, jogging 20,000 steps in about 3.5 hours. 997 calories. I didn't get it to 1,000 calories. I didn't make it. Okay, before my meat jumped over to midnight. Okay, I didn't make it. What did I have? 1,000 calories. Yay! I didn't make it. It's about engaging yourself. You need to, and I spoke about, Connie is here from yesterday. I had spoken yesterday. You need to learn, major learning for you. When we grew up in Malaysia, in Germany, and other countries in the world, we often got external feedback from our parents, from our teachers, from our society. You're doing a good job, you study hard, you get your A's, you feel good. External feedback, external feedback, external feedback. Now you need to be self-motivated. That means you need to step in front of your laptop and you need to motivate yourself. You need to identify what is really exciting to you. And that sounds like a little question only, but what drives you? What gives you happiness? What gives you passion? Think about that in your life overall. What makes you exciting? Now, I want to do an exercise with you in just a moment. But before we do this exercise, because right now I gave you a little bit of linguistics tricks on how you can approach certain life differently. But it's about making yourself feel good as well. NLP helps you to access past states of your life and access those states in the past where you felt good and bring those states into the present and into the future to make it utilizing it as well. So for now, I'm going to be in a half a minute. I'm going to be quiet in just about half a minute, for just about half a minute. And I want you to, I believe some of you have papers. If not, it's okay. You don't need to run for papers. Just scribble it onto your laptop or whatever it is. Type it somewhere. I want you to think about a time in your life. It might have been last week. It might have been last year. It might have been a couple of years ago. Think about a time in the past and write it down, that specific event, a time in the past when you were totally, absolutely happy. It was maybe the happiest moment in your life. Maybe it was just really thrilling, exciting, fulfilling, happy, whatever it is. Think about that moment in your life, write it down when it was, and quickly in just a couple of sentences or a couple of keywords, write down what made it so special for you. What was important about that one? Like, for example, 2 years back, my wife and I, we went to rent a car in Amsterdam. And then from Amsterdam, we drove to Frankfurt, had a couple of stops in between. And we saw Amsterdam, all these beautiful gardens in there. It was springtime. It was beautiful. It was really amazing sitting out in the morning time for me right now and enjoying the sunshine and the sunlight. And then also the time with my family, interacting and having lots of great fun. It was important to me because I could build a great relationship with my wife and my kid. So think about that for a moment. I just keep quiet for just about a couple of seconds now to have you contemplate about that specific moment. And when you are thinking about that time, most likely you start to get certain memories coming in your mind already, certain pictures floating up, certain experiences floating up in your mind. Maybe you heard people talking to you, and you might even access certain feelings. You might feel better already right now. I'm not suggesting that you are feeling extremely good in just a moment. So what I want you to do now is, I want you to sit wherever you are, even you, Parish. I think you're sitting right now. And close your eyes. Now, I want you to remember the time when you were so happy. Remember that specific time and you are happy, fulfilled. Go back to this time now, float into your body, meaning play it back out in your mind totally right now. See what you saw when you were so happy, so excited. Hear what you heard, and really feel that feeling of being totally happy, totally excited, totally fulfilled. Go back to this time now, play it out in your mind. What were you saying to yourself? What were you seeing around yourself? What were people talking to you at that point of time? How did you feel at that point of time? See what you saw, hear what you heard, and really feel that feeling of being totally, absolutely happy. And really float back and play that movie in your mind over and over again right now. Add on more pictures, add on more colors, play it out further, and really attempt to access that positive state within yourself that makes yourself feeling so good at that point of time. And change that picture. If it's a small picture, make it bigger. If it's a dimmer picture, allow it to be brighter, and breathe in happiness. Every breath you take, just purposely say to yourself, I breathe in happiness and I breathe out negativity. And then say something to yourself, I feel good. I feel good about that situation. I can allow myself to feel good again. And really allow that feeling to spread through your whole body. More and more right now, feeling good and knowing that is a situation that you can access here right now, that you do know you can re-access that over and over again in your normal life. And if you feel really good, just allow yourself to linger a little bit longer in that positive state, because it feels good to be good, and it feels good to feel positive, and know that you have that resources within yourself already right now. Now, when you're ready, just allow yourself to come back into this room here right now. Open your eyes and just type in the chat box right now. How do you feel right now? Do you feel good? Feel you great? Feel relaxed? Feel happy? How do you feel right now? I want to see that right now. Calm, déjà vu. Okay, Jean. How do you feel? Not déjà vu. I'm feeling happy, feeling better than before, feeling relaxed, feeling excited, relaxed. Good. Good, peaceful, absolutely younger, right? How to relax. Good, 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 good. I said happy, I didn't say to relax. Exactly that happens overall. Nostalgic, peaceful. Now, remember what this was here right now. I want you to every day, you can do that. Every day, take 2, 3, 4 minutes. It didn't take long. How long was it? About 2, 3 minutes overall. Get into a quiet corner of your room, close the door, and play out those positive situations in your life. Maybe together with your kids or with your family, do it all together, and then share these experiences. And allow that feeling always to get stronger and stronger within yourself. Always choose the same spot, and then along that line, add on maybe a keyword, something like, yes, I can do it, or whatever it is, because that keyword will be anchored to that positive state. Sooner or later, when you say that keyword, you're going to start feeling positive about that situation. I think that would be really, really nice if you could do that. I'm not sure if you are praying, for example. You can also take the 5 minutes after prayers time, sit down and relax and play out positive emotional states within yourself. It might require you, for example, to write down a couple of situations in your life when you are really, really happy or peaceful or relaxed. So you have a whole bunch of situations that allows you to feel good. And then you can play them out over and over again. And I promise you, your life can change. And once you're doing that more often, you are really going to be in charge of your mind, because that's what it is all about. That you are taking charge within yourself. But when you are worried, you can get into that peaceful state instantly, because you now know that you have succeeded before already. You were happy before, and it's just about giving yourself permission to be happy again. So this is it for my session overall. I hope you enjoyed my part. It was a little bit of NLP. I could talk about for another 2, 3, 4 hours about what else could be done here along that line, but I hope I could give you some ideas of how to approach certain challenges differently.